Hi friends, Mindy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in this journal that I've started. I'm doing a start to finish series on this journal and another pink one. I'm just going to be focusing in this green one today. These are using the printables from Michelle at the Junk Journal Studio, the Collage Cluster and Mega Pack. This is actually the pink add-on set, but I pulled out some of the green and neutral colors to make this other journal. And so I just want to add some pockets in here. So I'm just going to focus on this particular journal. And I realized that my camera is feels a little wonky, so I'm sorry for that. But I wanted to add in a little, that first pocket was just a piece of ephemera. I put a tag in there. This part right here, I wasn't sure if I was going to make a little flip out or how I was going to address that. So I just made the decision to create a little side tuck for that. This is going to be a flip out. I need to add to that and just kind of showing you some of the pockets and different things that I have currently. This I decided to fold the opposite direction simply because I didn't want to have two pockets on the same page, if that makes sense. And then this is already a folded over tuck spot. And then this little piece down here, this page is from a vintage book, and it just was ever so slightly larger than I wanted it to be. It still opened, easily, and it wasn't getting hung up too much, but I was afraid over time it would, especially as the journal gets thicker. So I decided to just trim off just a little tiny bit. That's just going to make that open and close more since it's resting kind of right in the gutter. And then I added some pockets here. So these I made out of the printable. I cut a square and then cut that square in half in a triangle. And these are going to be a couple little tuck spots. And I'm actually gluing these down to some antique paper here. But this paper it's called rag paper. And so it's got a really fun texture to it, but it's a nice sturdy paper. It's like thicker than you would think that it is. So I ended up adding this one up at the top just because of the way that the design is. I didn't want it to be kind of crooked, the opposite way if I was to put it down at the bottom. So that's just going to be a little uptuck there. And again, it's on that same rag paper just because it's actually pretty sturdy paper. And I decided to trim down that ledger just a little bit, just tore the edge with the ruler. And now I'm going to pull in another one of these printables here, and I'm going to make a pocket on this page, and I'm actually going to make a side loading kind of tuck spot here. And this paper that you see me using, I printed this out on, I think, 24-pound paper. So just because I'm going to be making pockets out of it, I went ahead and glued this down to an old book page that was like an encyclopedia or something, just to give it a little bit more stability, a little bit more sturdiness, but not to make it too bulky. So now I'm just trimming this down. I will use my big circle punch to kind of create a notch in there. And that way I don't know. I like pockets with notches. So you certainly don't have to do it. I actually have a tab punch that's designed for it, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's just not my favorite. I really like using my big circle punch for this. So you can see here, this is the back of that where it's got that encyclopedia paper on the back, and then just gluing that down on 3 sides. And I added this to one of the foreign language pages that's in this book because this way, this page still feels usable this way because it's going to have some journaling cards and stuff tucked in there instead of just being a page that's just got a bunch of foreign language on there it will actually have some use this way. And now I'm going to use a little bit of the excess from that pocket that I just created to create a little tab for my little pull out section here, just making sure I'm still giving myself enough room at the gutter that people can you can actually get in there and open that up. This is one of the collage. I'm obsessed with these collage pages from this printable set. I love them so much. And there's just something about this color palette that I'm really enjoying too. So I'm having a lot of fun with this and trying to not over decorate it because I want, whoever gets this journal to be able to customize it even further and really make it feel like their own. 'Cause I always like to send along extra goodies and things with my journals. And so I'm trying very hard to kind of not had something on every single page, but I really love these collage pages. So I just trimmed this one down. And again, I added a pocket here. And again, I did it on this page that has the music in the background so that I can add, it's still a useful page. And then I want those other pages, like the coffee dyed papers and the ones that have the graph paper, I want those to be able to be nice and open spaces for journaling. so that you actually have the ability to either, you know, decorate those pages more or actually use them and have a good bit of journaling space. That's always really important to me in a journal. So I tried not to over decorate them so that you can't actually write anything in it. This one I did kind of a long, skinny, almost tuck spot. I just cut a rectangle and then cut the angle over on the left. I wanted to keep that little bird. I thought he was so cute. I will probably do a little bit of decorating on some of these down at the, you know, at the end as well. But for right now, I'm just kind of focusing on getting some pockets in here. And this is one of those other pages that has a flip out. And so it kind of looked a little weird where you can see the page from the printable and the music paper and everything. So I'm adding another section of coffee dyed paper over here on the left just to kind of bridge that gap between those two pages. And again, make it so that it's actual usable writing space. Using some Yoo-Hoo glue stick to do this so that the whole page gets adhered down really well and there's no bubbles. So I'm just going to add that on the little flip out section, and then I'm going to create a pocket for that middle section where the music paper is, and that way I can add even more, you know, journaling cards and tags and different things in there. And so that will also be a useful space for journaling. So, you know, I know sometimes you want your journaling to be maybe hidden, or sometimes, you know, you're okay just filling up a page or whatever. So I'm trying to give a good variety for both of those options. And of course, you know, you can add pockets and things after the fact as well. And I still may come in on some of these pockets and add a little bit of decoration, but they're so cute already just with the collage. I really love them. And so I may not add to them. I haven't quite decided that yet. Right now, I'm just kind of focused on getting the pockets in there and trying to figure out what I'm going to put inside them. So I used the part, this was the part that I had cut off from that other pocket. I'm just going to add this right here on another one of those book pages. And now I have gone off camera and I have filled the pockets. So a lot of what I added in here are things that I pulled from my stash. So I have some shipping labels. This is one of the tags. I moved it to that pocket. This is a journaling card I had created recently. And then there's that tag. I will come back and decorate that. I will come back and decorate some of these other pieces that I have in here. But sometimes when I'm creating these journals like this, it just helps me to have, like, I know that all my pockets are filled, so now I can come back through and add the finishing touches. So that's what I'll do eventually. I'm really close to getting this journal finished. I'm trying to get it done, but I just added a bunch of Tim Holtz journaling cards in various sizes that I had that I felt like matched this kit. And then it just makes a good way for there to be a variety of, also from the printables, but also from, you know, just some other things, like some of these things that I've had in my stash, these Tim Holtz journaling cards, which I really love. So if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check my website out. It's called chosenandcrafting.com. And until next time, bye.